Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. This is Steve once more, coming back with another Unity video. So in this series we're going to be covering the building I've constructed to show you some of the work on that, and I also built a semi-elevator. It's not really fully functional yet. It's inside this building right here, which we'll be looking at soon, and I also was working on a scripting system that's not effective yet. It's just kind of moving it along little by little. So let's get that started. I'll run the game and kind of show it to you as usual. I'm going to pause and it's going to take a second to load it. Okay, so we are back and I'm going to resume the game. So essentially my only scripting system right now is walking. You see that talk section there? And it really doesn't work. I haven't got that set up, but that's what I kind of want to get working or something similar. You walk up to the guy here, you'll see the message. It'll change the messages. I eventually want to have it set up where you can just like press a key and change them, but for now you walk up to him and the messages should keep changing. I might need to work on that. I've been making some changes to it. I think it might be set up under the T key now. But anyways, yeah, we'll come back to that, maybe. That's still in works right now, so we still got the lab. Nothing's changed here. It's all the same. And we're just going to venture down. Zombies are going to be on their way up any day, any now. Also, in the works of trying to get a much better graphics card, so bear with me on that. I found a pretty suitable one. So we're going to go check out the building. It's actually a hospital, which all plays into the game because when the people are infected, you're going to take them to the hospital later and get points for that. That's the whole point. You have to save them and bring them to the hospital. Of course, you got to catch them because they're going to be kind of panicked and everything. So the hospital is just like the other building. There's really nothing in here. I haven't really built any models. Maybe we'll build a similar model or something, maybe a surgical table or something. I don't know. And here's the elevator anyway. It's pretty simple though. It doesn't really have like any buttons or anything. Just surrounded by walls. Here comes our zombie friends. Oh, before I forget, I'll show you. The zombies, I've fixed some of them and I've actually added some color to them now, so you'll see they look much better. You can kind of see him, he's got like a red shirt and blue pants now. So I decided to fix those. You won't stay still long enough to really see him there. You can kind of see him a little bit there. Anyways, let's go ahead and enter the elevator, which they cannot enter. And then, let's see if I can remember the keys that move it up and down. Just going to press some keys here for a minute. Might be E. Yeah, E moves it up. E and X, I remember. So E moves it up a little bit. All it's basically doing is just rotating an axis. Doesn't really stop on demand. I have to basically stop it myself. See, if I let go, it'll kind of just stop. And I added a little light to this section here. This building took me a long time to really design. I had to get the lighting right. I had to also get the windows again. The windows are not easy to design. This one's it's got a double wall here. Let me see. There's like a double wall over here. I'm going to fall off of it there. Actually, get that a little bit longer. There's like a double wall there. If I fall off, I have to get the elevator back. So we'll go back in the elevator. And we're going to press the E key again. Move up again. It's a very simple elevator. If I press the X key, it goes down. Very simple script. I'll show that to you in a little bit. And here's a little bit different room. You can kind of see the windows there again. And different view here now. This time I'm going to go all the way to the top instead of stopping at every single floor. I also need to clear out this message once you exit. So something I'll have to do later. That's the most recent thing I'm working on, is the talking script. How many more floors we got to go here? That might be the last one up there. Yeah, this is it right here. It's got to be it. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, there's a pretty high ceiling there. That's the top of the roof over there. Now you can kind of see we're a little bit higher up. I think... Oh, I forgot. I don't have a mesh collider on it, so we're going to fall right through. Oh well. Get another view of the hospital here. And I just added a little text script to the Blender file for, and just wrote City Hospital on it. And of course we still got a regular building over there. Just kind of, you know, moving the game along. You may also notice, if you've been paying attention, that I've completed the environment now. So before it looked kind of like you were in the middle of nowhere, but now there's actually a street here, and I surrounded it with sidewalks on both sides. Put some grass over here, put a little statue in the yard, kind of make it look more like a city now, instead of just looking like buildings sitting in an environment somewhere. And I think it looks pretty good for the most part. And then the zombies, of course. I also increased the size of these people. They were originally smaller. Make them about the size. I think I need to change the size of the zombies still. Or did I? No, I think I changed their size. Did I? No, I need to make them bigger because they're shorter than her. Well, she's like a giant to the zombies there. Look at them. So I'll fix that later. Haven't really done anything with the back city yet. I still need to work on those textures, of course. But that's just evolving. It's not all about really building the design more than it is about building the principles of the game, which is where I want to go from here eventually. You know, I can get really carried away with models too. And there's a park over here too, you'll see. I moved some of the benches over here just to kind of make it look a little bit more lifelike. You know, walk behind the buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, it's moving along. I don't think I've done anything back here. It's all the same. Just completed the sidewalks, just like over here. Actually, I need to finish some of these too. Move the street lights, you'll see that they're moved now. And essentially that is it. So I don't think I've done anything else. I'm just going to go take a stroll over here just in case I did something else. Oh, I know what I did. I turned the firing ability on, and so you can shoot the gun now. So if I press the button here, I just eliminated self-loading the ammo. It's not changing the ammo or anything because it's haven't really set that part up yet, but there's a bug I need to fix in it. Anyways, over here, I kind of moved some of these around, and I think I might have added some grass over here. You can kind of see I expanded it all the way across here. There's a terrain I got the sidewalk over here, but there's a terrain I need to fix over here, because there's a pit here, and you can fall right in it, and you can get stuck in there. So I make sure I don't fall in there. I was going to put it so you can put grass in there and stuff like that. And I think I might have done that down with this one. Yeah, I did actually. I surrounded it with grass. You remember the little sidewalk here with the walking up steps, which I still need to fix so you can't walk up them yet. But anyway, oh, I think I just fell in the hole. You seen the gun shrink down there, so I just fell in it. But anyways. Yeah, nothing much more. It's all the same. Crane's still there. Everything's still there. Bridge is still there. So let me pull up a script now. I'm going to pause here for a second so I can show you that elevator script and maybe some other stuff, and we'll kind of get started here. I got Mono developed up here. The script is right here. It's a C# elevator. It's pretty simple. I have to close Camtasia Studio here. That's the one I actually recorded with. So over here, it's a very simple script, and all you're basically doing is you're just checking for an input key, which gets a key from the keyboard. Remember I mentioned E goes up, you press E, and you see this transform.translate. I'll shrink this down to show you something a little bit here. Let me go find the elevator. Oh, I got this on ISO view. Go back to perspective. Grab me a little thing and zoom in on it here. Just to be precise. Okay, so here's the elevator. So I click on it. Over here, you'll see where it says cube here. Actually, let me just go over here. It's right there, elevator C, 1C. So over here, I wanted to show this to you because you see where it says transform.translate. It's basically picking up this section right here, and it's reading in the X, Y, and the Z coordinates right here. So this 0F just means freeze the X position, because we don't want to move the X position, which is moving it left and right. But we do want to move the up and down, which is the Y. And you see here is 1F times time.delta time. That's going to allow it to move in, I forget what they call it. Basically, it's a smoother motion when you're moving animation. It's used in animation a lot, so you're basically smoother motion. And this 1 times delta time is just allowing it to increase each time. So each time it's increasing as the timer clock is changing. And of course the Z position is frozen too because we don't want to change the Z. And this one does the opposite, just gets the X key, and you see it kind of reverses it with a negative here in front. That means it moves it down and does the reverse of this, and it's all the same coordinates. So it's a very simple script. I guess I'll move over to, I guess I could show you the talking script, or the speak agent. This is the one you saw earlier, where you saw those messages popping up on the screen. Let's see if I still have it up here. Well, I closed it, but it had the first message here. So what I did here is I created a text file, and I just, actually no I didn't. Oh, you know I just did, I put this in an array. I was originally going to do a text file, but I just added it to an array here. So let's go find our man here for a second here. Just going to look up, I kind of know what the name of it is here, and I'll just look him up in the list here. It's right here, right there. So highlight him, and then over here you can see these are the windows that's controlling the game object. So this is basically just like before, it's taking the message box, so whatever you're seeing on that little box, matter of fact, let me pull that box up and show you right here quick. If my Unity would move. I just took a dive here. Okay, so we're still waiting on that graphics card. Right here, message box 2. So if I go here and I check this and go to text 1 here, this is where the text is being output to the screen. You see that little blue section? That's what you saw earlier. That's basically what's allowing it to appear. Now if you uncheck this, it just removes it like that. It lets me remove it. And I'm not sure why this is going so slow. Actually right here, unmove this, and it'll make it disappear. So you only want to make it appear when he bumps into the person. Basically when you hit the collider, because there's a collider around this guy here. That's kind of essentially how that works. Let's go back here. My computer is freezing again. So over here is the text message that displays the text message you saw earlier. And essentially, I don't think I had the text file right here. I was originally going to read it from it, but I decided not to. But like I said, it's just reading directly from an array here. So it's just reading line by line here. As you can, it's supposed to be as you continue to bump into him. But remember, I said earlier it was looking for a key. That's because I was trying to use the tab key to activate it each time. If we turned it off, we could actually get it to work. It would just basically scroll through each line. Every time he bumps in, it would say this. You saw that one earlier. And then it would say this one. Then it would say this one, and so on. That's essentially all it's doing. Is it's just reading through an array here. An array is like a box. Think of it like a box of items, and each box has different items in it. It's divided into 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0 would have 22. In this example, this is just another example I was using for a test array. But this lab message is an array here. It's a string array. So basically it takes this entire string and it sticks it into a 0. So basically this is like saying like this if I had to print it out for you. If we had a print message, we would say something like print lab message 1. And then you would just put a 0 in there like that. And that 0 would represent this first line right here. So to read out this entire text message. Or the 1 would read out the next one down here. And so on. 2, 3, 4. That's how the arrays kind of work. Probably would actually be better to say debug.log. You could do the same, kind of print it out that way. I'm not sure where that logger came from, but anyways. That's how that works. Hopefully that makes sense. And then down here, this is a file I found online on YouTube where somebody's showing how to read the text file. I couldn't get it to work very well, so I decided not to use it. But basically splits it up and allows it to look through this text file. And basically this text file just has the same thing in it, just line by line. So down here, this on trigger means that you bumped into, hence, whoops, get it back there. It means you bumped into this guy. He's our on trigger. And right here, you'll see his trigger right there. I can't even click it right there. That's basically saying you're bumping into this guy right here because there's a trigger around him. There's a surrounding, I don't know if I can see if I clicked on this maybe. I'd have to click on the guy, but I don't want to lose the whole thing again here. But if you clicked on him, you might be able to see it. But my Unity is not running very fairly. I have a very slow graphics card, just so you guys want to know. It's not used for gaming, really. So, anyways, yeah, that's how that works. And what it does is once you bump into a guy, this is the section Collider says that you found this person, you bumped into him. Then this is going to create a text component so it can create that text box to find. It's just a way that it captures the components that are found in the computer itself. There's lots of components, like there's text, there's buttons, and message box. You saw the message box earlier right here. So there's a lot of different components you can use in Unity. Light is another one, I believe. So what this is going to say, once I get it working, it says once you press the tab key here, we're going to basically check to see if the current message is less than 5. And you see this current message plus plus. This is basically incrementing through each of these. So what I'm trying to make it do is increment through each one of these. So every time, and it does work, so every time you go to and bump into guy, it'll just read the next one, the next one, the next one, and so on. That's essentially it. That's all it's doing, is saying until, as long as we got less than 5 messages, just keep printing them out. And this is where the message box turns on, that message box that we saw earlier over here. And then, or that blue box at the bottom there. And then we're going to set the text box and turn it on so we can finally see the text. And at that point, we just write a test out, debug to the screen. And then here's where our text message reads in. Remember the lab message? That's just basically reading in that array. Remember I showed you earlier with the 0 and the 1, 2, and the 3, and so on? That's just basically sticking those numbers inside of here since it's incrementing them right here. So every time you see this plus plus, it'll say 0. Next time it'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So if you had to look at it this way, it would be like equals 0. The first time equals 1, 2, 3, and so on. Until it gets up to 5, of course. Well, actually less than 5, 4, excuse me. And then at that point, once it has that, it prints it to the screen, and it's going to check to make sure you don't go beyond 4 text messages because we only have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I could have done more, 5, but I only set that to 4. I was just testing it there, but I could still probably set it to 5. This says greater than 4, so it actually will hit the next one, 5. Okay. And then this, you might have seen this before. The start coroutine is just a way of pausing it and then creating the next message on your screen. And that's if you want to erase it and kind of start over. But we didn't get that to work yet. I could show you, now that if I turn off this real easily, it'll work, because I already tested it before. And just turn off this other one. So it might do something weird, but we'll see what happens here. So if I bump into him, what happens here? Yep, you see the next message there just appeared. Once the person's infected, it begins to morph into their unconscious state of Yep, and there's the next one. You are earning rewards, capturing any zombies. He's going too far back there. The next message, upload virus. And it basically repeats and it starts over. You start your mission with 0 weapons. And so that's basically how the loop works and everything. I thought I would show that to you. So, what else can we do? Obviously this is a Blender video. We're 23 minutes in here. Can probably move on. I'm thinking about maybe doing a simple hospital bed like this or something. Now this would be the first time I've ever done it. It's not like I've already got one to show you in Blender. And as I always do, I wanted to show you the objects that I created, the building and everything. I think it's right here. It loads. Right there, you can see that's the hospital you saw earlier there. And it's got array modifiers on it and everything to copy both sides of the building, just like before. You saw this in the original video, but this one obviously is complete. So, and the only other thing was the elevator. It's very simple though. I can remember where it is. Actually, it's got its own little thing here. There's the elevator that you saw earlier. So let's go ahead and get an idea to get this started here. So we're going to reset this. Let's go back to the cube thing again. And didn't mean to do that. Wanted to bring Blender back up. And I wanted to shrink this to bring in our other hospital bed here. Make some room for it. So we can kind of see it off to the side there. Okay, so we're going to start with a simple cube, I guess, would do. Trying to think if there's any easier way to do this. This is probably a more complex bed than the one I was going to do, but we could probably make it. So we're going to modify this cube a little bit, make it look something like a bed. It looks like a little bit bigger. Might want to make it smaller actually. It's normally not going to be that big, it's just going to be pretty gigantic. Something like that might work, I think. We could go in here, we could add like a pillow or something to here, just by adding in another cube. And we'll just change the dimensions of it. I'm just going to scale it down on this one, be a little bit easier. And I'm going to move it over. So I just pressed the S key to scale it, and I think I might have to make this smaller. Yep, I just now realized. So if I press the number pad keys here, that's the top view, and that's the bottom. The 1 key is the front perspective. The 3 key is like the side perspective, so you can work on it from the side mode. I'm going to shrink that down again. We can go ahead and we can add, I think it's a bevel to it, modifier. I have to make this a little bit larger. I can't actually see that. I'm just going to turn off this end menu for now and make this just a little bit larger so I can see everything. And the modifier is the one that looks like the wrench. I think it's a bevel. Yeah, there it is. You see how it kind of beveled out? Looks more like rounded edges, like a pillow. We can do the same thing to this one too, to set it to bevel. Bevel. And you see it's got the rounded edges on that one too. So it kind of looks similar to this one. And then we could add these little spokes here and the back part. It's going to probably take too long to really go into all this kind of design because it got some really weird like lift under the bed here or something. But for now I guess we could just make it a cube underneath here and then put some legs on it. Make it pretty simple. This is a simple Blender. So now I'm hitting the Shift A key to bring up the menu for the mesh. Yep, and I'm in edit mode. I need the hit tab key to get out of the edit mode because you want to be able to add it when you're not in edit mode. And we're going to add our cube, of course. I forgot to position it, so let me just undo that for a second with Control Z. you want to take this little circle and you want to position it where you want it. So some are like maybe toward the center or something like that because we want it in the center. And then the Shift A again, and the cube. And I'll just scale it down with the S key. Just make it a little bit faster to move it. Hit the 3 key so I get the side perspective here, and I can kind of shrink this down to make this under part a little bit. And bring it under the bed. Actually, I should have probably brought this above. I think I'm just going to lift this up. So you click on both of these and you can kind of select them. And then once you have them both selected like that, you can move both of them at the same time. We're just going to move the arrow key here again. So we can kind of, yep, select both of them there. So we can kind of move them both up like that. And we can slip it underneath there. Something like that. Then we're going to expand it with these little scale controls down here at the bottom. Move it over here a little bit. Somewhere toward the center there. We could probably bevel it out if we wanted to also. And play with the bevel on it. You can change the width of this, and you can do all kinds of weird stuff. So if I did this like the width, actually I could probably put that in edit mode, excuse me. It's got to be in edit mode to be able to change it. And then zoom down here a little bit, and if I change the width here, you can kind of see what it's doing. You might be able to see it's moving the edges a little bit more there. A little bit more sharper, I guess. And you got the segments. Oh, that kind of rounds it out. I like that one. And do that one, actually. That's almost like a box or something, huh? Yeah, that's kind of like it's rounded out now or something. Hit the tab key to switch back and forth to the edit and the object mode. And look at the segments a little bit here. I wanted to see if I kept playing with this, what it would do. I think it's just rounding it out from what I'm seeing. That looks closer to a bed than it did before. There's now a bunch of boxes now. And you could probably make the pillow, how would we do that? I think you could change the dimensions of the pillow. I guess I couldn't probably do it here if I wanted to. Probably, maybe it's not the bevel, it's not a good one to work with for that. I was going to try to make it a little bit puffier. Like you see, it's a little bit puffier that way. But anyways, let's throw the wheels on for now. And we'll use a cube here. We'll center our little cursor so we can get our cube position correctly. We're in edit mode, so we want to go back to objects by hitting the tab key again. Shift A again to bring up our menu. And we're going to hit a cube. S key to scale it down. And then we're going to play with our alterations on our scaling again. And if this disappears, remember you can always hit this menu like this and bring it back. Trying to see what that kind of handle it has on there. I can't really see the wheels on the bottom of that. That's like a psychiatric hospital or something. It's got little wheels on here, I guess. Okay, so back here again, and we're going to move this down. Change and switch the arrow so you can move it down, and you also need to shrink this thing too. We can probably just do a modifier to make this faster. Multiplier so we can, add it all over the place here. I'm going to hit the 3 key to kind of get a better position on the centering here. So I can see the angles better and move it up a little bit there so it's touching. Move it over. The side view so I can kind of move it over a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And of course, we could probably do the modifiers or we could do a duplicates. Doesn't really matter at this point. I'm just going to do the duplicates and just do it this way. A little bit faster, I guess. Actually, we need to make this bigger. I just not realized because it's going to go all the way across the bed. So scale it up a little bit. Move it over. I think that's pretty good. Now we can move this one over like that, and we're going to hit the D key. I'm going to go on the bottom so I can see this. It's the best way to see it, like that. So we're going to basically duplicate this, and we're going to move it to this side, but we're going to duplicate it on the X. So we're going to say D, Shift D for duplicate, and you press immediately after that the X key, and now keep it on that coordinate so you can move it without it going all over the place. Now we got them on both sides there. And I think I'm going to do array just in case I make any funny changes, so we want to modify both sides of these. So we'll probably have to set array modifiers for both of them since you can't do it that way. So I guess we're going to do array modifier. And remember before when you set it, it moves it right on top of it, so you just have to kind of move it over. You can also use, and just click in here and type it, and you can type in a number, see where it ends up at. Oh, way over there. Maybe 15, pretty close. Now I can move it a little bit faster. Probably like 20 or something. I'll probably do it better. Yeah, 20 is actually pretty good, I think. Yeah, 20 is great, I like that. Do the same thing with this one. We'll just set this one to 20. Array modifier. And set it to 20. And there you go. Now we just need to expand it. So remember, whenever we change this, it's going to reflect both sides since we got the array modifier on here. So watch as I change this side, the other side will change with it. There you go. So now I'm going to move it down. Now it's only going to be this side. It's not going to change this side accordingly because we don't have them on both sides. I probably should have done array modifiers on all of these, but anyway, we can still see kind of if it's even or not. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one for now. So since we got this one we want, we're going to copy it and we're going to move it to the other side so that it copies the same exact coordinates. So we're going to hit the Shift D for duplicate again, and then the X key again. That way it's the same size. And you see I copied both of them? Now it's even. Oh, where did our little pillow thing go there? I must have removed it. Did I take out the bevel on this? I didn't realize I did that. Put the bevel back on it. There we go. And I think it's looking pretty decent. And then we'll just stick some wheels on here. A couple different ways you can do this. I think the easiest way, and center the cursor again like that, would be probably the UV sphere would be good or not. This is going to take up so many vertices, but we could use this and we could scale it down really. Actually, let me put that back here for a second. I'm going to just erase it and bring it back here one more time, because I wanted to change the dimensions on it over here. These are the rings, the size and everything, and the segments is how many vertices. We want to get rid of vertices to make it look it looks kind of funny like that, but we could probably add a few more here to make it a little bit better so it doesn't quite take up as many as it did. I think that's not bad actually. 15 probably does it. And then you got the rings. That's just basically taking out those center parts. You see how I kind of shape it? Oh, look at that. It's like gives some really weird shapes there. It's interesting. So we'll make it look more like a cube again, I guess. And we'll just leave it on 12, I guess. And then of course the size is going to shrink it. You can also use this arrow here so you can move them up and down there to scale it a little bit faster. And I'm just holding the right or the left mouse button and I'm just moving the mouse forward and backward here, as you see, to shrink it. So, like that. You hit the S key, you can also scale it that way. Now we want to get it positioned. And we'll set an array modifier on it, of course. And I think I'll just duplicate it. I don't really need an array modifier for this one, I don't think. So duplicate on the X again, and move it over. And do the same thing over here. I guess it'll be a very simple bed. I could do the array modifier, it can't hurt, I guess. Except you always have to position it every time. It's not even 20 this time, huh? Maybe it's 15. 15's kind of close. Let me see. Actually, I should probably move this down a little bit so it looks more a bit better. And of course this one needs to move over on, I think it's the X. There it goes. You see it kind of moved over there. That looks good enough, I guess. And we can do the ray modifier in this one too. Let's face it, I'm in love with the ray modifiers. So it kind of looks like a hospital bed, sort of, maybe. I don't know. And then these little bars, we could add those on too. We'd probably have to be better off to create that little path to do it or something. I'm trying to think of any other way we could really do it. With everything I know about the menus. I think that'd be the only way to really do it. So I guess we'll just do that then. So let's set a position here for it, like maybe right there. And then we're going to go into our Shift A, Mesh. And here's a text, by the way, if you wanted to print text somewhere on the bed, we could do that. Like if you wanted to print text at the end of this, as an example, you could just hit the text key, see how it appears there, and you just have to kind of scale it up. Rotate it on the X, I think it is. Yeah, like that. And then you're going to S key to scale it down there. And we can say patient or something like that, whatever. Patient 1, 2, whatever. You hit the edit key there and you can kind of type over it here. You can erase the text. Patient. I don't know. Just make it real simple. But anyways, that's how you add the text there. So we'll go back to this and Shift A, and we're going to do that again. Shift A. What happened here? Got me stuck. Okay, Shift A, and I'm thinking about curve, maybe path. You remember this path before? We can modify these based on the vertices in it like that, and we can shift them up, move them around. That just kind of moves the whole thing there, but once you zero in on the vertices, you can change them. We have to rotate it, of course. Scale it down a little bit and rotate it like that. I rotated it on the X at 90. So move it out here so we can kind of see it a little bit. And then once you go in here and you click on it, I think you have to change it to the I have it in edit mode. Put it in edit mode. There we go. You see those little dots on there now? I'll zoom in on here a little bit. I zoom too close, it doesn't show it. Right there, you see these little dots here? Let me just move it up here, you can see it better here. A little bit more. Okay, it's not off the bed here. There we go. Okay, so we can kind of see it here now. Maybe I do have to add that circle. Keep forgetting that's the whole purpose of that circle. That circle is what allows it to change that, I don't know, I just had to position right there. You see a little dot there? That's a vertex. And we could start changing it, make it shift to look like this a little bit more. See, I kind of moved it up there, kind of angled a little bit. You can move it down like that. Maybe make it straight down or something. And move it over. Do the same thing with this one. Get a little bit of angle down. Make sure it's straight up and down there. And then, of course, we could scale it down. I'm going to make it actually bigger than that. See, it's kind of like a circle shape there. Anyway, going to make it bigger. So we want to scale it on the Y. Oh. Scale. I think I have to add an object mode scale on the Y. There we go. So it's kind of like spreads out a little bit. I may not mean it that big, but scale on the Y. Hit the S key and then hit the Y key. Something like that. It's still kind of big, so I have to scale it down a little bit more. Position it. Just scale it on the Y again. May have to change the vertices again or something. I'm trying to figure out how to stretch it. Anyways, let's go ahead and add a thing here. Little pipey line that looks like a tube there, and we can scale it down. Okay, if you remember that circle earlier here at the top, this controls this down here. I often forget about that. So this allows us to shrink it in a little bit more there. See how it kind of looks a little bit flatter, kind of like this now. So if I change this, it's going to change that down there. Put it in object mode again. How did I do that? Before I forget, let me save this so in case we back out of this too far, we don't lose it. Hospital bed's good. You have to select it first. I figure out how I did this now. There it goes. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, cool. I'm learning how this thing works, so it basically kind of mirrors this thing down here. So now we can probably make this thing bigger by scaling it. And it's starting to look a little bit like that, maybe not all the way. Let's move it up a little bit. Or move it back down into the bed. And scale it so it's a little bit bigger. And then now we'll go back in on the edges so we can kind of move these in a little bit more. Straighten it up a little bit. See, as I'm hitting those vertices there, I can hit and kind of straighten it. Now we're going to hit the whole thing and scale it out again in here a little bit. We can go back and play with this again. And then change the scaling on it again. You can kind of get something working with it. I'm trying to figure out how to get these fat sides here. Oh, if I do that, that works like that. It's actually pretty good. I think I like that. And I guess we could just set a little box here. I'm not going to make it real complicated for now, but we'll add a modifier for it. We'll just make up our own little bit here. We're going to position this like this, and we're going to create a little cube here across. So Shift A, bring in our little cube. Do that again, Shift A. Sometimes it doesn't want to pop up right. And our cube, we're going to scale it way down just by moving the mouse. And it's pretty close. And then now we're going to move it over. Maybe a little bit smaller. Maybe a little bit smaller. So that kind of goes across there. See? Kind of similar to that. And we could just duplicate and add one on the bottom there too. And duplicate it on Z. Do that like that. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. I think something like that doesn't look bad. Kind of close to that. We could set a bevel on it if we wanted to make this more rounded. To get a little bit more complicated. Or can we? Maybe we can't do it. Well, it's in that near path. Let's see. Apparently it won't let you do that. Subdivision surface maybe? No? Oh well. I guess it has a mind of its own. At least I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I think that looks pretty good for that one. and then we could just duplicate one on the other side. So we'll see if we can set an array, hopefully set array modifier, or I'm just going to duplicate it. I don't know if we need, duplicated for now is good enough. So let's just do it on the back here first. Duplicate it on the, and make sure you hit these arrows so we can move them. Duplicate it on the X, so Shift D, X, move it to the other side there. Then we're going to, of course, bring it down inside the bed there. Oh. Make sure you select all of them like this so you can move all of them. And move them down a little bit there. And this one's sticking a little bit off. This one is too. Oops. So we can kind of select these individually, like that, to move them over. And I guess we'll just erase this one again. And it doesn't matter. You just move it over and whatever. I was going to try to make it even like the other side, but didn't want to waste so much time here. And we're going to move it out. So it kind of hangs over the side. We could create these little arms and all that if we wanted. Basically, you just set a cube and you angle it. But don't want to spend a whole lot of time on just, you know, don't like to make my videos super, super long. But I think it's looking halfway decent. And then we're going to go ahead and just duplicate this again. Highlight everything just like that by clicking on it. And then we're going to hit the duplicate for the Shift D, and then we're going to move it on the Y, which is what the green is. And that'll let us move the whole thing over like that. So it's kind of toward the pillow there. Like that. Those little things that go up and down. If you've ever been in a hospital, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yep, need to get this angled right. So I hit the Control key and the 3 key, and I can flip to the other side, and we're going to duplicate this one and do the same thing. Shift D on the Y, and kind of get the top view here so we can kind of see if it's even a little bit. Move it up a little bit here. I think it looks better than nothing for now. If you wanted to, you could create a little bit more of a bigger thing on the front here. So we're going to try to create, I guess I'll just stick with the cube again, I guess. Let's scale it down. Make it kind of going across the bed there a little bit. You can kind of see it surrounding the back part of the bed there, like that. And bring it down a little bit, of course. It's actually sticking inside the bed now, but then we could just bevel it, add a bevel to it, kind of round it out like that again. I don't know, just something you wanted to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. I'll just go back and save it. Oh, we forgot the middle part down here. I need to put that on the end here. I could probably make one of these. Let's see. I don't know if it'd be faster to do this or if it'd be faster just to make a cube. Let's click on the text here so we can move that out of the way in the meantime here, so we can use that a little bit here. Can move it there for now. And you can hit this F key here to kind of change the resolution of the text and the colors of the text and everything. The fonts of the text. And you just set this new here and you can change the, I think it's this one, it's the specular. The diffuse is going to change the color of it. We'll just create a little cube here on the end and just call it a day. It'll take too long to go through all this mess. Then we're going to stick that patient thing on top of it, so it kind of looks like it's got like a little thing on there. Alright, cube, scale it down, size it really quick. So I'm just creating that thing on the end here, position it. It kind of goes underneath it a little bit there. I could probably, something like that. You know, it's got that chart on the bed. And you just basically select this and put it back in or move mode so we can move it, and we're going to have to move it out here a little bit so you can see it on top of it like that. Move it back a little bit so it kind of fits into it, but not all the way through it. And we got a patient bed. So I can't make these videos much longer. It's already late here too. Now I gotta get up tomorrow. But I think that's a good start for now. We could have probably made these bigger. I noticed they're a little bit bigger, but oh well. We have just a weird looking bed. I'm just gonna delete this one for now since we don't need this one. Just hit the X key and you can delete it. I don't know where that weird thing came from. X key, delete. Whoops. Oh, that was actually that circle modified. That's what that was. So you don't ever want to delete that because it'll delete your modifier here for your bevel or whatever, for your path. So there's a way you can go here too, and if I like real quickly just added a cube here, go back to object mode, added a cube and scaled it down. I saw this on YouTube, so I know how to make it really fast here, how fast I can do this. I'm gonna see if I can make a little blanket. The other thing I forgot to do is I forgot to UV unwrap everything. So of course, I like to go to Cycles mode, and then we can hit them. You always want to put them in edit mode, hit the Control L key so you highlight the entire thing. Do this little thing over here, and we're going to of course select our regular UV image editor. Move it a little bit there, and then just press the U key for unwrap, and just use Smart UV unwrap. So we can unwrap the entire thing so we can add the textures and everything to it properly. But you guys should already know about this. There it goes. So we can create those little rep that we can use to add colors to it and all that fun stuff later. I'm using Smart VNREP because it just does a better job. You have to do the legs and so forth and everything there. And I'm just hitting Control L to highlight the entire thing. Make sure it's in edit mode. There we go. Let's save this. It's probably going to take too long to go through the whole thing, but I wanted to at least show you that. You can kind of see it there a little bit more rendered mode. What it might look like once it's got diffuse coloring on it and lighting and everything. And of course, yeah, that's our little generic bed. So we can import it in Unity, I guess, even though we don't have all the textures highlighted here, so we probably won't be able to do much with them. Oh, and before we forget, hit the Control key, put it in Audio, hit the A key to highlight everything, and then we're going to smooth it out so this looks better, and save it, and we can export it in the Unity. And since my videos get downsized a little bit, I'll try to downsize this a little bit more. Actually, looks like we might be able to get this bed in here. If the thing hasn't just frozen on me, and it did. Okay, so when to get inside the building here, let's just say if we wanted to put it like on the first floor or something, for example. And then we saw these little levels here. And we wanted to stick a bed over here somewhere. Just for purposes, you can drag it out here. And then there's our little bed, so, yep. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe this channel. And yeah, this is Steve Marl. I want to thank you for joining us this time. And next time, be sure to watch more videos. I'm going to be coming up with more stuff and keep expanding this game. We could also go back in here. We could duplicate these beds just by hitting the Shift D key here. We could set a series of beds in the hospital ward. So yeah, so that's all I'm going to do for tonight, and you guys have a good day.